E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live. Also on Amazon Fire TV and to Twitch. Also Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna Guinois, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Story. So it's Tuesday. We are so excited. We are talking about our life lessons this week. And my partner in crime just came back on the screen. Welcome back, Jim.
Well, thank you very much. They shoved me in front of the camera because you were talking about we, and they didn't want you to think, they wanted me to, okay, you know what I mean.
Whatever.
How you doing, Donna?
I'm good, Jim. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, doing very, very well. And, ladies and gentlemen, Donna and I are so blessed to be able to share some great information. This stuff is the principles of life. We're going to be talking about your pathway, your calling. And it's just, it's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful opportunity for us to be able to share this with you, isn't it, Donna?
It is. It is. So, Bill, this is what we're talking about last week and this week is Bill Heinrich's The 7 Levels of Truth.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's a picture of Bill. And boy, does he have some amazing information in this book.
Yes, he does.
Every page. It's not a real long book. It's, what do we say,
208 pages, I think.
208 pages. So it's not a long book. But what I appreciate is he doesn't use a lot of fancy words that aren't needed. I love that. Very down to earth, very understandable, gets right to the point. And if there's one thing about Bill, he'll get right to the point real quick.
He certainly will, because sometimes people that they don't even have as much background and knowledge as Bill does, but they want to sound impressive by talking eloquently and using words that, the average person doesn't understand. And as a speaker, or, everybody knows, professional speakers know, you speak at about the 6th grade level, because people want to be able to understand what you're saying. Because after all, if you're selling a product and if they can't understand half your big words, they're not going to buy it from you because they think you're going to write the same way you speak. And
you want everyone to be comfortable.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we're going to be talking today, digging more into our life's lessons. And I really like this one comment here by Dan Millen. He wrote the book, The Life You Were Born to Live. And he's not just talking about himself, he's talking about everybody.
Right.
Everybody was created they were born to live their own life. They really were. And I love the way he says this. Until we recognize and live in accord with our underlying purpose, our life may feel like a puzzle with missing pieces. Wow.
Right.
That is just right down the middle, goodness gracious. And we're going to get into that. And Donna, we're going to start covering some of the life that you were born to live, some of the things that Dan talks about there.
Right. That's going to be exciting because there's quite a few of them, and kind of do a little bit of a deep dive because I honestly believe that this is how I see it. We're born to lead a certain life, but
Yes, ma'am.
sometimes in different stages, in different
Hmm.
times,
Hmm.
right? So the life obviously I'm leading now at 57 is not the life I was leading at 27, right? So it's kind of interesting, at least for me, when I look back on my journey and I see all the different things in my life that's actually led me to this moment.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. It's been a training ground for all of us, hadn't it?
Yep, sure has been.
Some of us have to go back like me and go through remedial training and learn it twice. But
Hmm.
Donna, today, Donna,
What
guess
is
what today is?
what?
It is National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day.
Oh,
Mm.
that is forever going to be one of my comfort foods.
Hmm. With my heart and all that, and with the things I got going on there, I'm not supposed to eat any cheese and all that. But I tell you right now, you people out there who are inventors, you naturalists, invent a natural thing that will taste as good as cheese without the effects it has on the heart. Because man,
Right?
when that cheese just starts to melt, and especially if you got some ham in there, which is another thing you can't eat too much of with the heart. But it just gets all kind of together, and oh man, just you can
Right.
gnaw on that thing. Oh, mm, man,
Well, tuna melts are really good.
yes,
It's grilled,
ma'am.
right? Grilled, cheese in there with
Hmm.
tuna, and oh yeah, you
Oh
just
yeah.
can't go wrong with any kind of grilled cheese sandwich.
Mm-mm. Not at all. It's just a wonderful, and cheese is a great substitute for meat.
Hmm.
It really is. And but I will go to my grave always loving cheese. I guess I'm part rat in my DNA.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we'll see if we can find that in the book, Jim.
Okay.
Oh
You
my,
wanna you wanna go ahead and get started with
I do.
okay, let's go with The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan. That's Millman. Millman. Dan Millman.
So number one is creativity and confidence, bringing positive energy into the world.
Hmm. And
So we talk a lot about positive energy. We talk about negative energy and the effects that both of them have,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, because since we're all a vibration, you're vibrating something.
Right?
It's either negative or positive energy.
Right.
And we definitely know when someone's vibrating negative energy. We want to get away from that. I mean, it's just like seeing someone sneeze nowadays. You want to run around the corner or something. I mean, you want to get away from that. And
Well, and we've talked about it too. Positive energy, when we get excited about something, when
oh
we
yeah.
get super happy, or we go into a complete hysterical laughter, all those good things, those relieve, oh my gosh, those relieve all the endorphins.
Mm,
And those are great for our system.
yeah.
And positive energy is great for our system.
Mhm. Does that include snorting?
In my case, it would definitely include snorting.
I just had to ask.
Right?
Yeah, because when you think about it, our purpose in life was born to be able to create positive energy. That's why we're here.
Right.
But we're going to be creating something. It's either negative energy, which goes into the darkness of life,
Oh,
or we can walk into the lightness of life, the positive side, and produce positive energy.
right.
And we have the choice. It's like turning on a light bulb. If you want more light in the room, turn on the light bulb. If you don't, cut it
Right.
off. It's our choice. Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
We have a choice in what we do. We
Mm-hmm.
have a choice if we're going to, you know, are you going to act or are you going to, react? I used to tell my children for every action, there's a consequence,
Mm-hmm.
right? there's, for everything you do, there's a consequence, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And it's your choice in which one you take.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right about that, because kids need to, with all the things they're wanting to teach in school, we need to be able to take our own initiative and take responsibility and own it and say, all of our kids,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's, our own children or nephew or niece, or maybe even the neighbor's kid, teach them a little bit about positive energy.
It takes a village.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, growing up, we had a community of people that, everybody knew what was right and what was wrong.
Yep.
And if anybody saw you doing something that was wrong or something where you could get hurt, they would step in to
Yep.
protect you.
Sure would.
And, if you were doing something, bad, they would let your parents know. Mm-hmm. And they'd step in and stop it because, growing up in Carolina, if I may use this example, my brother was a senior in high school. He used to park the school bus during the school year at the house, kept it there overnight and on weekends during the school year. No one messed with it.
Right.
It was just, they had that, we were just brought up with that much respect for things.
Right. Right.
And
absolute respect.
you don't vandalize tombstones, you don't vandalize churches, and you don't, in my family of case, and a lot of other families that I know of, you didn't go around, you didn't spew venom on people.
No.
You didn't say mean and hurtful things to people. Oh, you tease them and have fun. Sure, that's part of growing up,
Yeah.
But nothing, was negative or hurtful or anything like that. Because all those memories, looking back, they're precious memories because they're worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Think about when a song takes you back on the radio, because we're going to have Mr. Marty Haggard on our 90-minute special for the VFW. That's coming up on April the 23rd on a Saturday night.
I can't wait.
At 8 p.m. Eastern time, from 8 p.m. to 9:30 Eastern time. And Donna, we're going to be on prime time.
Yes, we are. And we are so excited. We're going to be the VFW.
He's our special guest.
Special guest that we're honoring. And Marty's joining us. And you know what? Because we want to give back.
Yes.
Right? When you give back, that creates a positive outcome for everybody.
And Donna, if I may, during that broadcast on that Saturday night primetime show, there'll be marquees there for people who are veterans and qualified to be a member of the VFW. They can join.
Yep.
And for other folks that maybe do not qualify or civilians that want to donate, you will see another marquee that says donate. But Don, on behalf of Don and myself, we're very, very happy that 100% of those funds that's raised will go directly to the VFW.
Now, and the VFW has a lot of outreach programs.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes,
oh,
they
my
do.
goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Just
they
about
really
anything and everything you can think of.
Yeah. And it was originally started back after World War I. And this is just a little bit of a background on the VFW for our special coming up. Because the World War I veterans had no benefits.
Right.
They go like, wait a minute. You politicians can't send us to war and then send us home and not take care of our needs that we need, physically and mentally and that sort of thing. And the VFW was created to hold Washington accountable.
Right.
And rightfully so. And so we're very, very honored to be a part of that. I'm a lifetime member of the VFW. Donna's father is he was a combat veteran of the Korean War. He served 31 years. He's a retired colonel. So we all got some skin in the game. And Mr. Marty Haggard, he's not going to be paid anything for being here on this show or on that show. He's volunteering everything. And Marty is he served in the Marines for a short period of time. His career in the Marines got cut short because a hitchhiker shot him. He picked up a hitchhiker and shot him in the stomach. That's terrible, ain't it?
That's just awful.
And that's a clear case of someone Marty was given, demonstrating positive energy and doing the right thing to help someone. And whoever that person was, he was so wrapped up with hatred that the only thing he knew how to do was to spew out evil, wicked, negative energy and hurt an innocent person.
Yep.
And that will be on that person, whoever that individual was, for the rest of their life unless they repent. And I hope they do. But that's the wonderful thing about the positive, negative energy. You may have people in your life who are very negative, but that does not mean that you have to be negative, do they, Donna?
No.
Not at all.
Nope. And, if it doesn't work, and I've talked about it on the show, I don't allow people who are negative around me.
Mm-hmm.
They are not allowed in my inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
It is not worth me trying to balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll throw so much negative energy that for me, it feels like I'm being hit by a tornado.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, not going to happen. So I just don't allow it.
Yeah.
It's quite simple.
It's just like being in a dark room. The room's either dark or you've cut a light on, there's light.
Exactly.
But it can't be half dark and half light.
Right.
Because it cannot coexist.
Right.
And the same is true with negative and positive energy. They repel each other.
Right. That's at a stalemate.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. It certainly is. And Donna, as we walk down through the pathway of life, I love number 2, cooperation and balance. And this is what, Bill recorded about Dan Millman, his comments under the life you were born to live. When it comes to cooperation and balance, clarify the limits of your responsibility and learn to work with others in a spirit of harmony, balance, and mutual support. What does that say about egos?
Oh, there are none.
Yeah, exactly.
There are none.
Mm-hmm.
There are no egos.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that if somebody is super negative, right, and there's, every word out of their mouth is, well, that's probably not going to work. And I don't think that's such a great idea. Why would you ever do it like that? Those are the kind of people that you just don't have to work with.
Yeah.
Right? You just don't, because they won't change. They won't change until they're ready to change.
You're absolutely correct, because the key word in that is harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be in perfect harmony with someone if you're kind of boiling a little bit on the inside or a little bit miffed on the inside, because that just corrodes your creative energy. It robs you of the energy that you're searching for, that comes willingly and rushes into an open mastermind situation. Because if you're sitting there and you're discussing ideas and things like that, and you're open-minded, the ideas rush in.
Right. They
really do. It happens to Donna and me all the time, and I've seen it happen on every single mastermind I've been on.
Yep.
And I've been on masterminds, or if you want to call them that, a meeting of the minds, and half of them didn't mind. But, my point being, you let someone in that room or that meeting with an ego and wanting to do it their way, and it kills all of the energy and the negativeness in that. You can just feel it. I don't care if it's on a virtual stage or in a physical room or whatever. You feel it. And you want to do what? Get out of there.
You want to close down. You want to leave. You don't want to listen to that person anymore.
That's right.
So harmony is absolutely huge in, finding out where you're at and being with the people who are in that same space as you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because just find people. There's people out there that you can work with in perfect harmony. Mm-hmm. There certainly is. And having two people with an agreeable attitude is a lot more powerful than having some so-called guru with an ego.
Right.
Because that individual he'll create more problems, or she'll create more problems than they'll solve 100% of the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And number 3, ready for this one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Expression and sensitivity. Utilize your emotion utilize your emotional sensitivity to bring heartfelt expression into the world. Now, Jim, stop.
Well, I'm working on my, what'd you call it, emotional sensitivity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really need to brush up on that one there, I guess, No, but really,
Just a little.
yeah, just a little. I was talking to an individual. This actually happened to me. I was talking to an individual. I was on a meeting, and an individual referred to me. He said, "Well, I told Jim about a physical condition that I have in my heart, but he was very stubborn." And I looked at him, and in the private chat, I says, "That's not entirely true." And the way I handled that, I just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
His opinion of me does not describe who I am inside. I demonstrate daily in my actions with others who I am. And he's the only person I know of that has described me as being stubborn. I mean, because Don, I think you know me well enough, and I'm not looking for approval or anything like that. But I mean, it just kind of like took me back, like, where did that come from?
Right.
And,
Well, and again, that becomes an ego.
yeah.
That was all about an ego.
Yeah, and see, my point being is that I could have accepted that negative energy and said, "Oh, stubborn,
Game
huh?"
on.
Yeah, I could have, been stiff necked. But that's some private chat. That's not entirely. That's not true entirely. That's not entirely true. But I'll let it go because that's his problem.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the point in that is you cannot control what someone thinks of you.
Right.
And you may think, where did they get that from? But don't worry about that because a lot of times we all form opinions with poor or misinformation. So do not let that get you. Don't let that drag you down.
No.
Because the negative side of life is always trying to hit you in the heart with their arrows, and just let it go. Because whenever you're working on with your emotional sensitivity to be a heartfelt expression in the world, make sure you're coming from the heart 100% of the time.
Right.
Because that's what people are hungry for.
Absolutely.
They're not hungry for your ego or your opinion.
No, and it goes back to the old saying that people will forget the words you say, but they'll never forget the way you make them feel.
Amen. And ladies and gentlemen, we got Mr. Bill's marquee up there. Bill's website is truelifepurposenow.com. You can go online there and pick up the 7 levels of truth because we're reading it sharing it from the book. I don't want to say reading it, but we are sharing it with you from the book because the words are that powerful. Plus the fact, Mr. Bill will be more than happy if you contact him there to give you a free 30-minute complimentary consultation at no charge.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing is true with Donna. Just contact her at highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. Donna will be more than happy to schedule a complimentary 30-minute consultation with you. And I'll let her explain that in a minute. And she will not send you the bill. She always sends it to me. So don't worry about it.
I do. It's my gift, Jim, to keep you humble by sending you the bill for other people.
Mm-hmm. There you go. It makes me feel special.
Right. So no, it's just about finding where you're out of balance. Mm-hmm. And what I have discovered in my journey, and that has helped other people, not just myself, is it comes down to a person, a place, or a thing, or a combination thereof. And so sometimes we're just too close to the forest. We can't see the trees, and we just need a little help. I'm not saying that it can be all fixed in 30 minutes, but it's certainly a start. It is certainly a start to help you find what's blocking you, what's keeping you here instead of getting you to move forward.
There you go. And between Donna's 30-minute complimentary consultation And Mr. Bill at truelifepurposenow.com. That's truelifepurposenow.com. That is 1 hour of complimentary counseling to help you find out what's blocking your energy and what is robbing you of your health and your happiness. Then we got another one. I like to mention this all the time, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. If you listen to that, I encourage you to just lie down, put the earphones on or earbuds in, whatever, and close your eyes and just let the words just vibrate in your brain. Listen to the words. And that's an hour and a half. And I'm telling you, 100%, I don't know how, but I promise you, I give you my word, you will be a changed person in the right direction, in a better direction. Because I know them. I know the Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. I met him when I was a young guy. And I certainly know Donna, and I certainly know Bill. So I know what's in store for you. And they'll send me the bill. Sincerely, yeah. And you will not be, chased after or put on an email list or anything like that.
Nope.
Bill is too busy. Donna's too busy keeping me in line doing 5 shows a week, and
a few other things.
That's a full-time job, isn't it, Donna?
It is. And I'm tired. I'm tired.
I hear you. I hear you, girl.
Gosh.
That's a sign of intelligence.
Well, number 4, why don't you tell us about number 4, Jim?
Okay. Number 4 on The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millen. And I'm trying to get my book over here. Number 4 is stability and process. You achieve stability and security by patiently following a gradual process toward selected goals. That is just, it just has a nice smoothness to it.
It does.
Because so many times people try to get you revved up and all that, trying to get you excited to make $10,000 this week. And money supports motivator on planet Earth, but to be able to utilize and be stable in your life, have stability and security. Notice what I said, by patiently following. That's a gradual process, patiently following to reach your goals in life.
Because sometimes you just can't get there overnight.
Mm-mm.
It's like going to school. So if you want to go to school to be, I don't know, a rocket scientist, I'm pretty sure, I don't know much about that part of school, but I'm pretty sure that it takes more than 6 or 7 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
So they have to be patient and have the commitment and the stability to go forth to eventually reach that goal.
Absolutely. And one thing too about it, when you think about being patient and the stability and all that, that may sound boring to someone who is really eager to be a multi-millionaire. Well, bless you and hope you have good luck with that and all those good things. But when you think about the process there, that means there's a lot less stress. There's time for you to smell the roses along the way. There's time for you to enjoy your life as a human being with your loved ones. Because so many people who are chasing that dollar, they only focused on the money. And they're totally out of balance with the universe. Because, the love of money is not love. It's a lust of money is what it is.
Well,
and that is, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that always winds up in a train wreck for you emotionally and usually financially too, because it becomes your God.
So I want to read that again, and then I want to add something to it, if I may.
Sure.
Achieve stability and security by patiently following a gradual process toward selected goals. So when you are patient and your energy is in balance, you learn more. right? You get further. You're not frustrated, right? Because I can tell you, there are times I'm not patient. There are certain things I'm not patient in. For the most part, I'm a very patient woman. There was a time I wasn't. And when I look back now and I think, oh my gosh, my impatience, what it cost me was missing so many moments in achieving the goals along the way.
Mm-hmm. And it also, kept your motor running on the inside. It stresses you out too.
Right,
It really does.
right.
Goodness.
That's huge. So,
Hmm.
when you're patient, you have more energy because you're not going up and down like a yo-yo.
Hmm. Yeah, that's it. You're exactly right, Donna, because, being able to, take a smooth ride as you're going down the pathway of life towards your calling. It's your
Right.
calling in life. It's no one else's. It's your calling. That was
Exactly.
probably one of the hardest things for me to get my mind wrapped around about being my calling, my special calling, no one else's, when other people are trying to do the same thing that I'm doing. But
Right.
see, they can't do it as good as you because that's your calling. I can't do it as good as you. That's your calling because
Mm.
you've got the special gifts that we all have seven gifts, seven divine gifts. We have different proportions of each one. That's what makes us so unique and so special.
Right.
And it's just amazing how you can just take a deep breath and relax and focus on your journey, the reason why you were created, and you can
Right.
just go on and on and on. And when people say things or things happen, let it go.
Hmm.
If you control it, let it go. It's either a person, place, or thing, like Donna says, and it's usually 99.9% of the time it's physical, and you can't do anything more with it anymore than you can, go outside and stop it from raining.
Right.
I mean, it's just that simple.
Right. And when you let the things go that are bothering you, you're going to find that you're going to get to your special calling, what your
Hmm.
goal is, you're trying to achieve a lot faster,
Oh yeah,
right? A lot
yeah.
faster.
Hmm.
So
You're exactly right. Go ahead.
the next one is freedom and discipline.
Hmm. Hmm.
Find more inner freedom through discipline, focus, and depth of expression.
Mm. It's amazing how freedom and discipline go hand in hand.
Right, right.
I mean, in the country here, in our country, USA, a lot of people talk about their freedoms, but they are totally out of control. They have no discipline.
Right.
And they don't realize that they're not really free. They've enslaved themselves.
Hmm.
And it's a pitiful thing because when you find more inner freedom by disciplining yourself, more inner freedom, who wouldn't love that?
Right.
And if you discipline yourself, guess what you're doing? You're also eliminating some things that you may think you want that can roll back and snake bite you or aggravate you or upset you later.
Hmm.
I mean, that's very, very true. And I've seen people go through that, and I'm not going to mention anything, but I give a perfect example, and I don't want to mention it because it's very negative, but a man can, he's got to be true to his school. He's got to be true to his life. He's got to be true to his family.
Hmm.
And if he craves something else, that can come back later on at temporary pleasure because he didn't have the discipline, and that can destroy him
Right.
on all fronts.
Hmm.
On all fronts. I've seen it happen. And that's a classic example of why, if you want to be free, you want to discipline yourself to not fall prey to the traps of life. A lot of people do that, don't they, Donna?
They do. Well, and for the traps of life, it's like what works for you,
Hmm.
right? What is that trap that does not work for you,
Hmm.
right? What's the one that becomes that trap is triggered, then you get entrapped in it, then you become enslaved to it. and you have a hard time getting out.
Yes. I remember reading in a little one of the publications back in the 70s that they used to catch these little monkeys because they were worth a lot of money. And the way they would catch them, they would, cut a small circular hole into this melon. And the only way it's just big enough for the monkey to get his hand into the hole because they knew the monkey wanted to grab a hold of the fruit and pull it out. But with the hand clenched full of fruit, when the men started going over to catch the monkey, he refused to let go of the fruit to free his hand to take off.
Interesting.
He held on to the fruit. And that's a principle in life. If we hold on to something that we're not disciplined about, it's gonna catch up to us.
Right.
It really will. And I thought that was a great analogy. I wish I was back in the 70s. I don't remember exactly what publication it was, but I read that in the 70s, and it's always stuck with me.
That is kind of interesting. That is an awesome analogy. I like that. I like that a lot.
And when it comes to number 6, our vision and acceptance. Donna, here Dan is talking about you are here to reconcile your high ideals with practical reality and to accept yourself, your world, and the present moment through an expanded vision of life's inherent perfection. Wow, that says a lot right there.
Yes, it does.
My goodness gracious, you are here to reconcile your high ideals with practical reality and to accept yourself. Whoa, that's a big one right there. How many times people, I guess we've all had certain times that we didn't feel good about ourselves. I'll say that, But there's some people that just never feel good about themselves. They feel like they're stained or tainted or bad or it's beyond their control.
Right.
And that's not true. That's simply not true. It's only true in their minds when they accept it.
Right. Right. And our mind, what we tell ourselves is the most powerful thing of all.
Yeah. Because if you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right.
You're right.
Henry Ford said that. And talking about to accept yourself and accept your world. That's very powerful. So many people want to blame their surroundings. I grew up poor.
Right.
I grew up in a bad neighborhood. Well, I mean, I've seen professional athletes who come out of poor conditions and they've been very successful in life because they appreciate the value of the gift that they had physically, and that gift enabled them to earn a lot of money. And they turned around and they made it to be a blessing to others.
Absolutely.
And you can also think of a couple of them that, they came out of that situation and money could not change them.
No.
Because money does not change you. It only amplifies who you are deep down inside.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing money can do.
Yep. That's
money
a
can't
fact.
money can't make you happy, can it?
No.
It can make things easier in your life.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all need it so we can, keep a roof over our head and pay the bills and all those things. But, accepting yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Boy.
That's huge.
That is huge.
Do you like yourself? Ask yourself that question. Do you like yourself?
And, if there's things about yourself that you don't like, you have a choice.
Change it.
You have a choice to change it.
You certainly do.
And it's not going to happen in a day. But you know what? If you keep doing it daily by choice to change whatever it is you want in your life, that will happen.
And just to reinforce, I want to go back, if I may, Donna, and just briefly cover the 7 divine gifts that we all have.
Oh, absolutely. Please do.
Because if there's someone out there saying, well, I don't think I got what it takes. Well, you do have that. Now, this is the behavior that's associated with blocking the 7 divine gifts. Remember how
Mhm.
Donna talked earlier about what's blocking your energy, either a person, place, or thing? Okay. Divine compassion, you have that. We all do. You may have more of it than I do. But the thing of it is that incapable of saying no when asked to help and over identify with those you serve. You lose your identity. This is
Mm,
behavior that blocks your divine gift.
right.
You don't
So for
normally think of
me,
that. Mm-hmm.
if you give so much of yourself to
Mm-hmm.
somebody, you're constantly trying to do more and more and more to please them.
Mm-hmm.
You lose yourself in that process.
Yes, you do.
I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is you wake up and you look and you think, man, my cup is completely empty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do I go about filling up the cup for myself?
Yeah. You just feel used and abused. And that's the way I felt, after, when you feel empty on the inside. I mean, it's in everything in life, there's a yin and a yang.
Sure.
And like Donna and I here with our marketing partners, we got to be able to provide value to them. We're
Mm-hmm.
not just there to say, hey, give us a check, please,
Right.
because that's all one way. You got to have a harmony there that works together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And that's a principle in everything,
Right.
working together. Here's another thing. A lot of people, when they use the word divine creation, the divine compassion, all those divine words, a lot of people struggle with thinking they are divine. But yes, you are divine. You were divinely created.
Right.
There's no question about that. And divine creation, when you get lost, now again, we're talking about the things that can block you from having this divine gift, being able to utilize it. Being lost in thoughts and fears, bogged down and stuck.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll
I've,
get you.
I've been there.
Mm-hmm. Me
I've
too.
been there in my life, and I mean, it is
It's
no fun.
no, it is not fun.
So if you're lost in your thoughts and you got fears and worries and all that, and you're down, and you feel like you're stuck. You have blocked all of the divine energy that's coming to you
Mm-hmm.
to help you utilize what you've already got. This
Right.
is not some gift coming out of the universe to you. You were already created with that gift.
Right.
Wrap your mind around that. That's important, isn't it, Donna?
Oh, that is so important because just like our fingerprints are unique to ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
what we do, what we contribute, and
Mm-hmm.
how we give, that's just as unique and special as your fingerprints because it's
Yes,
all
ma'am.
part of you.
Yeah. And it's also when it comes to your divine creation, there's another comment here. You get misaligned to your purpose, which impacts your finances negatively. So you're sabotaging your own riches in life.
Right. Right.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the chickens come home to roost there. I mean, when you start, that's kind of like saying, hey, I'm pulling money out of my own pocket, because that's exactly what that means.
Right. Absolutely. Well, in divine order,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
hate it when people are upset with you,
Mm.
and you would do whatever is necessary to avoid drama.
Mm. Just like I mentioned earlier when the individual described me as being stubborn, okay? That's his opinion. I can't control it. So what? Maybe I did or said something that he thought was stubbornish. Maybe so. I don't know. But I'm not going to worry about it
Right.
because I chose to say it's not my problem.
Right.
And you
Right.
can too.
Absolutely.
And that's like someone says to me, hey, Jim, you're old and you're ugly. So what? I mean, I've gotten used to it all my life. The oldness is, I'm getting used to, but I hadn't always been this old. Usually I tell people getting old is a new experience for me because I've been young all my life, at least mentally, you know.
Well,
But
I
the,
look
you
at
know,
it like this, Jim. When people have an opinion of me that
hmm
isn't favorable,
hmm
they don't like me, or I hear it from somebody.
hmm
Well, so and so doesn't really like you, Donna, and I
hmm
just look at them and smile. And I
yeah,
got to tell you, when you look at somebody and you smile, a genuine smile, and you do that, and you say, "Well, that's okay,"
hmm
because their opinion is none of my business.
that's right.
Man, you want to talk about taking slack out of somebody's chain.
hmm
That'll do it in a New York minute right there.
Yeah. And look at it like this. I think it's a great analogy. We've all made mistakes when we're driving
Sure.
a car, okay? And how many strangers have maybe beeped the horn at us or looked at us like, where did you get your license at? Sears and Roebuck or Walmart
Cracker
or
Jack
something?
box.
Yeah. But that does not define the way we drive the other 99.9% of the time.
Right, right,
And so if that person has an opinion about the way I drive based on that one little tiny mistake that I made, so what?
right,
That's his opinion or her opinion. Let them have it, let them enjoy it, and literally drive on. No pun
right,
intended.
right.
But that's a good analogy to look at it because if someone thinks that you're a bad driver for 5 seconds, doesn't mean you're a bad driver every time you get behind the wheel. And I lost my place here.
We're at divine healing.
Oh, I need some. My brain needs some divine healing. Can we? That's not funny.
That's a different bill that I'll have to
Oh,
work up
okay.
for you.
All right. Mm-hmm. You won't put it on my account on account. Ain't no account.
Right? Well, divine healing says take on the role of the martyr and quickly becoming resentful.
mm.
Start seeing the world as takers.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the behavior that's associated that blocks
Right.
your divine gifts that you're already hardwired with at birth.
And when
That's
we
what we're
take
talking
on the
about.
role of a martyr,
Mm.
okay, so that in itself is a negative energy force,
hmm
right?
hmm
And I think we all know people like that. I know people
Oh
like
yeah.
that. And when
hmm
something happens to somebody in their family, they love it because they're a martyr and they
hmm
get the attention. And
Yeah.
then they can say, "Oh, Jim, did you hear about so and so?" Sure did, Donna. Do you know how that affects me? Do you know what I have to do now? That's the martyr.
hmm Like the
That's
world's going to stop turning if you're not there. You got to
right,
come out like the shining knight on that white horse,
right,
and you got to save the world. And if you're not there, everything is just going to crumble and burn.
right.
Oh goodness. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've like you say, I've known a couple of people like that, and I'm telling you, I want to get away from those people about as fast as a hound dog will run from a skunk. I mean, I just don't want nothing to do with them
Right,
because they're all
right.
so wrapped up in me. And egos is a perfect way to block all of your creative energy, all of your divine
Yep.
gifts. I mean, it's just amazing how, you know, when you're in the world, and seeing the world, you're a taker of everything, but you don't give. You're totally out of balance, totally out of balance, because that goes against every single principle that we know of. There's not one place anywhere in scripture or in literature anywhere where if you're a taker, you're going to win.
Right. Then
If you're a
there's
taker,
those
you're going to lose.
right. Then there's those who are passive aggressive,
Mm. Oh
right?
yeah,
They give you something, right? And you think, "Oh my gosh, that's so nice." Then the aggression comes out
it's
and
a
it's like,
hook.
right, it's a hook. Well, Jim, I did that for you. Don't you remember? Now you
hmm
need to do this.
Yeah.
That's a passive aggressive,
hmm
right? And that one's kind of sneaky, and that one's dangerous when people are like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They think they did something for you. Now you
You,
owe me.
Right.
I wash your back, you wash my back, as the old saying goes. I'm going, come on, you know.
Right.
And when it comes to divine truth, everybody wants to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You can only deal with the truth. You'd rather for someone to tell you the truth, no matter how bad it hurts, rather than give you some cotton candy, sugar coated lie.
Right.
Because in the end, truth's going to come out.
Always
If,
does.
yeah. And one of the things that can block your divine truth, people don't seem to have an interest in what you say. So what? You're talking to the wrong people, or they don't find you interesting, or
Right.
it's just so what? Don't worry about it. And also, you tend to become more aggressive and outspoken when people don't want to listen to you or something. You want to prove your point. It's kind of like when the married couple's arguing. We've said this before. They're not trying to, you know, solve the problem that got them arguing. Each one's trying to win their side of the argument.
Right.
You know,
Boy, it's nice being older and wiser, isn't it, Jim?
huh? I'm as older and dumber.
Well, I said older and wiser. I didn't say anything about your hearing, buddy.
No, okay.
But the
But
last one
yeah.
is divine power.
Ooh, preach it, girl. Preach it.
You get caught in the bright, shiny object syndrome.
Mm.
Boy.
Bring it home, Donna. Bring it
Uh-huh.
home.
I mean, I wish I could say that I haven't been there, but I have. And that's
It's-
part of the journey. That's part of the process. Okay. And you know what? The shiny object syndrome. I mean, that's now if you come join my program, you'll earn $10,000 like me. You can earn that. And so they always have a hook in there, right? And that's their shiny. And then they're showing pictures that usually we've talked about this, may or may not be theirs, a boat, a car, a house, whatever. Right?
Yeah, they
That's
go
a
to
shiny.
they go to a
rent 'em,
Ferrari dealership, stand beside a car, and have somebody take the picture.
right? So, and the other thing it says, there are so many choices, and you don't want to eliminate any, right? You don't want to eliminate any. Well, we can't do everything at once,
That's right.
right? So we have to pick what works with us best.
Yes, ma'am.
But when you try and do too much at one time, nothing gets done well.
No.
You don't have your energy, your energy placed into it with your heart because you're spread too thin.
You're exactly right. And probably one of the best analogies of this, it's recorded in the Bible, but it's also recorded in other areas of man-made history. When Solomon was going to become king of Israel, he could have asked for anything. And most kings during that time, they'd ask for great riches, so they could, show everybody else how I'm keeping up
How
with the
big a
Joneses.
king they were.
They wanted to pass over the rest of the Joneses.
Right.
But he asked for wisdom. And there was no question about it, how it got answered, because he was known for his wisdom, number one, but he was also known for his riches, because the Bible says that, when he prayed for that prayer, God says, you could have asked for anything. Yeah. I'm going to give you that. Plus, I'm going to give you all the riches too. You can have that too. And the point of it is that if you have your heart in the right place, whether you're a heartpreneur, as they like to say today, if you're a servant, whatever it might be, if you're looking on the outside rather than looking inward of what's in it for me, the radio station, WIIFM, what's in it for me, and you're looking outward how to bless others, you're going to be blessed.
Right.
Zig Ziglar said, you can get anything out of life that you want as long as you help other good people get what they want.
Right.
And I think he got that from Proverbs 11:23, because it talks about the generous person. Listen up. This is a principle. This is not about religion. This is a principle. The generous person, by watering others, will be watered themselves. Notice the prerequisite in there. You got to pay it forward first.
Right.
And then you'll be watered. It's kind of like a farmer planting a field. Going to work very, very
Absolutely.
hard. He's got to prepare the field, do all that stuff. We're almost out of time. But at the end of the growing season, that's when the farmer he's earned the right to reap the harvest.
That's when he gets his bounty.
Yes, exactly. And that's a true principle.
Hmm.
And this, my goodness, we covered a lot in this show here too, didn't we, Donna?
Yes, we did. We
Been a
did.
good one.
It has been.
Mhm.
I really like talking about this. This is,
Oh, yeah.
it's part of my energy
Oh, yeah.
vibration,
Mhm.
right?
And if you have any question or anything like that, or anything that we cover,
Or if
uh,
you have something that you want to hear us talk about,
yeah,
there is a subject that we haven't covered.
Mhm.
We welcome you to write us and
That's
say,
right.
hey, you haven't covered this subject. We would
Mhm.
like to hear about it.
Mhm.
Please do. That would just
Mhm.
tickles us no end.
Mhm. And all the emails come into our staff, and they make sure that
Yep.
it gets directed to the right person, so you can get a fast and quick response and all that. And if you do, make a suggestion or anything like that, Donna and I will welcome it and very much. And Donna will let me know to get on that ASAP, get all the material together so we can study and put it together. And I got a teaser. If I didn't tease her, she'd think I was either mad or
That's
losing my
right.
mind. Mhm.
That's right. That's all right. That's all right. Tomorrow's
Had her,
another day. I'll get you tomorrow.
yeah, I had her snorting last Friday.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Too fun. Well,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are out of time.
We certainly are. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in, and we appreciate you very much. We're very appreciative of the fact that our show continues to grow in popularity, minutes watched, attendance, all those things. My goodness, we feel very blessed. Thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. And we like to close every show with saying, we hope and pray that you and your loved ones are blessed, that you're healthy, you're happy in all areas of your life. We hope you're blessed. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.